What it do, good people? Welcome back to the Daniel Diagnosis. I am your host, Keith Daniel. Today we have Rod Hayes. He will be speaking on Ye and how Ye came at Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Farrakhan. I think Rod Hayes would do a fantastic job as far as connecting the dots and letting us know um, what's going on behind the scenes or the deeper meaning behind the things that we're seeing in real time and help us understand exactly what's the skit, what's the play, and what's actually going on in this crazy thing that we call life. With that being said, we'll get right into it. I'm not flipping the screen. I'm gonna keep the screen just like it is. Just follow along with your ears. I will be adding dialogue as I see fit. However, I'm gonna try to let it ride the most and the best that I can. So, without any further ado, let's get into it.
Um, he been telling us the whole time. It's 3 volumes to Secret Relations Between Blacks and Jews. Spoiler. Um, Farrakhan's father is a one of the pale Jews, and he know who these people are, but they not the ones with the stroke, with the power. They trying to get the motherfuckers with the real power to come out in the forefront. They hide. They look like us, but they ain't us. So now they got them in play. They're playing pickle between. There's several different people at play right now in this game of pickle, trying to force the imposters to come out into the open. Because now you got the ones that's the cat's paw. A cat's paw is a fall guy, and the fall guy job is to take the credit for the dirt that the person that sent him to do the dirt sent him to do.
Hey, yo, with that, right? Check this. You ever seen John Wick? I think it was the third one, John Wick 3, when he was trying to he had the hit out on him and he was excommunicated and he had to go out into the desert and find the real boss that was behind all the shit. And then when he get to the desert, he run across a Arab guy basically. You know what I mean? You would like again, what Rod's saying is you would think that we've been taught that it's the Rothschilds and this, that, and the third, and these other people that are the ones that actually got us down bad and put us in this fucked up ass position. But what Rod's saying is they are just they are the spokespersons or spokespeople for another faction that may look similar to how we look. You feel what I'm saying? And when he say that, that's what it puts me in the mind of. Because when you would think that when John Wick went to see this head honcho, you would think that the head honcho would be damn looking like a Rothschild or something. You see what I'm saying? But no, he don't. The motherfucker got a goddamn gown on, got his goddamn thing on their head, jewelry everywhere, and they live like nomads in a tent, and they just always moving around the damn desert, never in one spot. And I just find that interesting. All right, with that being said, let it ride.
But now, as you see with the commissioner of the NBA and Kyrie, the pale ones are saying, nah, we ain't gonna take this weight this time. We gonna let it go back to where it belongs. It's a whole stage show playing out in front of y'all, and y'all watching the show, but I'm watching the director, I'm watching the assistant director, y'all watching the actors. This whole thing is a game of pickle. It's a game of bump around until they come out and they have to show who the fuck they is because they look like us, but they use pale faces to block institutions. So when you read Secret Relation Between Blacks and Jews, it's a consistent theme. Everywhere we at, these people there. But everywhere we at, pale people not there. That's the common denominator. Nobody's catching. As far as Farrakhan doing his job, um, he doing what he supposed to do. He left it open for Kanye to come back to him on purpose. He's smarter than you giving him credit for, or the people generally are giving him credit for. Kanye come out and tell the minister they need to have a dialogue, that's a whole nother animal, right? Because what they trying to do is put enough pressure on the ones that's the front man that they don't want to take that heat. Now they're starting to drum up the heat. And now all of the Ashkenazi, Sephardi, and Khazarian rabbis is starting to take sides one after the other with Kyrie and Kanye. We ain't watching that though, because we only watching the faces that look like ours. But they starting to systematically say, yeah, they the real Jews. But we ain't watching them.
Facts. It's a lot of videos out here that you have real life rabbis of the Jewish faith coming out and saying, hey man, these guys may not be wrong. Hey people, these guys aren't just out then damn slammed over their rocker. No, these guys aren't crazy. Hey, they have some substantial evidence and some credence behind what they're saying. Yeah. It's a lot on. But like Rod say, we just don't see it. We ain't watching it. You feel me? They're right.
We ain't watching their reaction to what's being said. We only watching our people. So when we seeing what we doing, we only seeing that one hand at play. It's two hands working, right? So um these people live in gated communities because they feel like the human on earth is trash. They don't want us touching them. And they look like us. They niggas. They call themselves the black nobility, free white persons in law. If you look up free white persons in law, it's going to tell you who they is in the definition. But we get caught up in the wordplay. Who said this? What he didn't say? What he should have said? And here, Kanye talking about all these people were sacrificed, but ain't nobody saying who sacrificed them and what was the gain for the sacrifice. Nobody ain't asking that question. They talking, oh, Illuminati, somebody got sacrificed. That's who did it? Jewish Defense League. Go pull any entertainer that died a mysterious death. You're gonna run across a three-letter organization called the JDL, who is a paramilitary branch of the ADL. And this is when you will start seeing what's really taking place. If you don't do that, you're gonna be lost in the sauce trying to figure it all out.
Interesting. Okay. Awesome. So let me ask you this then. Um, because okay, from the public eye, right, and from what most people can see, what's being played out on the global stage is basically, Jewish people trying to, like Bogard and buck break, black folks to say, when Kanye came out and said what he said. So exactly which Jews are trying to side with black people? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Oh, I've been posting them on my Instagram when they
You
saying that.
shadow ban, brother,
uh,
because I don't never see none of your posts ever. I have to like literally go
I be
search
seeing
for your
him.
posts to like search for you to go see, find what your stuff just don't come on my timeline. I have to go and
I got a different page. I don't know if you know it. It's called the Sick Eight because they blocked me off my other two pages.
all right, I'm gonna go find.
One of them they took down, and the other one they just didn't let me use. So I just started another page.
Hey, can I answer real quick? Follow up what the brother was talking on.
Come on.
Yeah, so we're witnessing this because they know the answer, and the truth to the answer is in the Talmud. And they know once people start reading the Talmud, they're gonna find the truth to all of this. It literally connects the dots to what's transpiring right in front of our eyes.
He's pronouncing the book Talmud, but it's Talmud. I was listening to a video earlier today, man, and that book got some very very interesting stuff in it. Like they don't look at like it that Talmud. It reads very much differently, actually, in contrast to how the Bible reads. You don't even want to know what they say about Jesus in the Talmud. I'm talking about, man, it gets downright baffling. And I mean, like Rod said, these people despise human beings. That's in the Talmud. Like the way they talk about Jewish people and Gentiles, and the Gentiles are beasts. And since we are beasts, we could never be neighbors to the Jewish people. Yeah, that shit, it's written up like that, man. And that's concerning. I've never read the Talmud, but if it reading like what I heard the excerpts of earlier today, hey man, that need to be something we talk about. I ain't gonna lie, cause it do explain a whole lot. Like this brother saying right here, it explains a whole lot. It connects a lot of dots.
There's actual scriptures in the fucking Talmud. Excuse my language, but it's just irritating right now for me. The answers are plain in sight. The description to who Shem is, who is, Ham as they describe him, who the true pale people of Jashif are, and how basically the 10 tribes were taken into Africa. Like there's actual transcripts that tells us how the tribes were moved around the world into different continents, basically how they were gentrified. So once people start reading the Talmud, which a lot, sorry, I had a call, they don't know about it. You know, I encourage you to pick that big book up and read it because the answers are right there. And those Jewish rabbis, they know the truth, and they're gonna have to go with it. And like he stated, there's a wall being built up between that group. And literally in Israel right now, as we speak, these people are going through some wild ass rituals. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's just wild that we're witnessing here in America, Kyrie and Kanye come up and speak how they are speaking right now. And like he stated, those rabbis, they're coming out. They're taking sides with them because they know the truth. They have to side with the truth. And those who aren't, well, we know who they are. And what's in
Hey, and shouts out to Matrix Unveiled. Matrix Unveiled. This is the channel that I'm getting the video right here that we listening to from. Shout out to y'all. Y'all make sure y'all go over there and hit the subscription button. You know what I mean? This, I ain't no hater and anything like that. I like to give props where props are due. Go over to Matrix Unveiled. Subscribe to him, man. This is a fantastic video. I wanted to stop it because I heard the word Israel. Israel wasn't a land, folks. It was a people. Israel didn't become a land, a state until 1948, I want to say, with the Balfour Declaration that was written to Lord Rothschild in hopes of securing the land to make Israel a state, with Jerusalem being the capital, and they were going to take half of the land, a majority of the land, from the Palestinians. That's why it's always war over there, because Palestine, the Palestinians are pissed the fuck off because, excuse my language, because them folks that came over there and just debowed their land. They just bogarted it. You see what I'm saying? And this happened like not even 100 years ago. Like this some shit that happened in your mama and your grandmama's um in their generation. They were living when all this was taking place. And that's why it's always so much turmoil over there, because they're trying to justify themselves, in my opinion, as far as having that land. Now, that is very, very interesting to me. And if you know anything about, the United States and our relationship with Israel, man, we send a lot of motherfucking money over there, dog. A lot of money, but for what? But for what? Because again, if we talking scripturally, how our scripture reads versus how the Talmud reads, we got a valid gripe. But I'm gonna digress and I'm gonna let Rod tell it, because y'all don't believe shit I be saying.
synagogue they belong to. I'll land with that.
That's pretty accurate. That was pretty accurate. Look, to tell you, before Columbus came, nothing in that Bible had anything to do with anybody in the Americas. Nothing in the Torah, Nothing in the Talmud, the Mishnah, none of that shit didn't have nothing to do with nobody over here until they brought that shit over here. Now we want to be everything in the Bible, except we don't know where we at. We the ones who birthright being stolen by Jacobins. These are fake Jews. These are ones masquerading as the chosen people of God. But they all the time they tell you right in the same book they brought over here, they was gonna be the synagogue of Satan.
Revelations, what, 2939?
Both. Anytime you see something repeated in a book like that, that means really pay attention to it. Because in one it say, I know the works and tribulation of those that say they are Jews and are not, but do lie, but are the synagogue of Satan. The other one say, I know the works and the tribulation and the poverty, though you are rich, and are the synagogue of Satan. Right? So they telling you who they is. Now we just have to figure out who these motherfuckers is so we can overcome the obstacle.
Have y'all ever looked at the images from like in the temples in the Vatican, like when they be having their little mass meetings and shit? That shit looks spooky as hell, man. That shit don't look like there's nothing. That shit don't look like no holy shit. Like, I mean, I don't mean to say holy shit, but you know, we always say holy shit. I ain't trying to say it like that, but I mean that don't look like it's a holy place. You feel what I'm saying? Like it don't look like that. It look like it's some reptilian. Like the one picture I seen it looked like a snake head. Then the throne or the seat or whatever you want to call it that the Pope sits on. It looked like it looked like some horror movie shit. You know what I mean? Like it don't look like nothing that would set easy with me and easy on my spirit, saying that it's of the Lord or it's of God. You see what I'm saying? Like that's just what I get anyway. Y'all can go over and take, Google images of the Vatican on the inside and things of that nature. And you'll be surprised about what you see and what you look at. Like just because we're told something, people, that don't mean it's true. Again, history is written by the victor. And a lot of what we be taught in school is indoctrination to go along with the programming or the propaganda of that day. All right. And we have been duped for a long time and just been going along with it. Now, I know a lot of y'all are like me. All your life, you just had this little damn feeling in the pit of your stomach that something ain't right about this life that we live in. Like this shit had been hijacked. Like it don't supposed to be like this. You feel what I'm saying? And this is only until recently that we are coming, we're becoming awake as a collective because we all feel it. You see what I'm saying? This ain't no coincidence. This is just the time, and this is the time and the age right now. This was going to happen. It's written in the book, in the good book, in the Bible. It's going to happen. It always happens. Like you cannot continue to keep the veil over the eyes of the people because the awakening that will come, you can't stop it. Like Trump used to say, no one can stop what's coming. Yeah, shit. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. We actually did a watch party over the weekend, in my Discord where we watched that particular documentary that he was talking about. I mean, listen, I'm not like new to this when it comes to like the ideology, right? But as far as the details, I really, you know what I'm saying? Like I've never really cared that much because I'm not a religious person, right? But as far as lineage wise, this is something that I've always been told by my mom, which was she was told by her brother was told by our great grandmother, my great grandmother, our lineage and who we were, like we're the true. So this is something I've always had this operating knowledge, but not the specific details because I'm not really drawn to religious ideas, right? But I see like the way that religion has had our people in bondage. So I figure like anything that we could know that would help us to dig up our people up out of this. You know what I'm saying? The suffrage and how that there is some connections, with the things that are written in scriptures. And if they could just see it, and just to unseat the unholies, right? The people that, you know what I'm saying, that like if that's your lineage, it's your lineage. If it's not, it's not. But we've literally traded places with these people in history. It's really no different. They've been running this same program for thousands of years.
And
When they
nobody will interrupt the pattern.
right. There you go. They've been running the same program for thousands of years. So when they come and they see you, whatever you got, they're gonna take it and pretend that it's theirs, right? And it's just that simple, right? And so like my mama been telling me this, my baby, she's 25 years old right now. Okay. She was a baby when they were singing Hebrew to her, in a thing in the house or whatever, and she clapping her hands. How a baby know to clap their hands to that? You feel me? So that stuff be in our DNA. For me, it's more about like the bloodline, right? It's always about the blood for me. I could really care less about the religious aspects of everything, but I don't disrespect or disregard it either at the same time. But we got to come up out of these lies, and I feel like
Look,
yeah, what he
the
woke her
first
up.
the first step, Lisa, is to realize the Bible is a contract, a riddle, and a tool of war. That's the first step. The Bible. That's why they always send missionaries ahead of the military. The missionaries got to come interrupt the pattern of the belief system of the people. This shit in Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. They know that if you take a righteous people and you preach righteousness, no matter how much dirt you do, those righteous people gonna follow the sound of righteousness. They not gonna follow the actual righteousness because they can't see it. They can only see the facade. But when you start picking behind it, like you mentioned, Brother Polite, but what about all these Christian preachers, priests, these rabbis, and these Islamic imams that have these relationships with these underage kids? When I say underage kids, I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about real children. I'm talking about 8, 9, 7, 6 year old children. And don't nobody want to say nothing about it because he's supposed to be the man of God. And I'm saying, shoot that nigga right between his motherfucking eyes and leave his ass laying where he was standing.
But we need
And see, he ain't lying. And see, that's in the tablet. Like it's a whole bunch of contradictory statements in the tablet, man, that gonna make you say, what? Like it's not considered a sin to sleep with little girls or marry little girls. I'm talking about little girls. I'm talking about like 3, 4, 5, 6 year old, like that type of shit, man. That shit blew my mind, man. Like this is their diction. This is their law. This is what put this is their religion. Like this is in their book. Threw me for a whole loop. You see what I'm saying? But we get demonized for just being human. Ain't no pedophilia, ain't no raping, ain't no none of this stupid, crazy stuff. It's just typical human shit, consensual shit. But it's demonized. While behind the veil over here with these folks, they doing ludicrous shit. You feel me? Y'all gotta make this make sense. Like everything is in front of you. It's just a situation of do you want to see it?
we need to have that. Like we don't. That's not our people. You understand what I'm saying? We got to deal with our people, right?
Our people, this shit go on in our community.
Right. And so I'm saying we got to deal with the brother polites of our community and stop, you know what I'm saying, elevating people like that. And then when we see
Right,
their,
right.
right, when we see their iniquities, we turn a blind eye. I was saying that as a reference to let's not pull Minister Farrakhan apart and act like his message is not valid. We don't need to have someone that is perfect. Do you understand? In your eyes, right?
Right. They don't got to be perfect, but
Right.
they got to leave them damn kids alone.
They
I
got
know.
no, but yeah, we don't have any allegations about Minister Farrakhan. Though, like, I'm just saying, like, when I was speaking to Kaylin, is basically because she was like, oh, well, and then somebody else was like, oh, well, he did this to this person, did that. Okay, we're here now. Okay, we're here now, and this is relevant. And you understand, there's different phases of a warfare. There's different phases. So y'all still worrying about something he did 30 years ago, but is he having an impact right now today? You know what I'm saying? And so, like, let's put that to the side. You don't have to be all the way, you know what I'm saying, like invested, right? Like you like because people are looking for preachers. They're looking, we black people can't get their mind off of I need you to be perfect, right? And so So when they buy all the way into you, it don't matter what you do, what your iniquities are. But they want to piece this man apart because at the end of the day, he's a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? And so, let me tell you something. I have valued that I'm not from the Nation of Islam. I've never practiced anything from the Nation of Islam. However, I look at him as just a person that from I was 20 years old, I never knew about genocide in the black community, right? Until I heard the man I was dating who became my husband tell me and show me, right, that they were putting this in malt liquor bowls, like malt liquors and stuff like that. How they like I never knew. So I started to, that was like my awakening process, right? And it was through them. So, you know what I'm saying? And me and him are not together anymore, but all these years later, like he still clung to that. And I have moved on to so many different levels of consciousness, but I never forgot it. And I've always kept up, whenever they say anything, there's a certain level of respect that I hold for that. And at the end of the day, I don't give a damn if you Christian, Muslim, whatever you are. If you're black and you see what's going on right now, there's no way you can look at that message and have a problem with it that he said the other day. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Brother Rod.
I don't have a problem with what the minister said. I know what he's doing. I know who he's fighting against. And I know the method he's using and the strategy. The sister was mentioning Khalid Muhammad earlier. I don't know if y'all know this, but he tried to take over the nation and oust the minister. That's what that shit was about. And we don't know what it's about and that don't know the inside scoop. But Khalid literally tried to kick the minister out of the nation. How the fuck you kick the leader out? That's what that was about. That wasn't about none of that what he said about the Jews because he didn't just start saying it. He was saying that shit in the 70s when he was working as a missionary in Africa. He was saying it when Farrakhan brought him back in the 80s. he never stopped calling the motherfuckers skirt wearing heinies and shit. He never stopped doing that the whole time he was there, and he never got penalized for it. He got ousted from the nation for an in-house coup attempt that failed. That's
You
what
know,
that was about. And he was my favorite fruit, by the way. But if I didn't know what was going on, I wouldn't even fuck with none of them niggas because of Khalid if I didn't know he was trying to take over. That's how he ended up with the New Panther Vanguard. Because he wanted to take over, kick the minister out, arm the FOI, and go to war and get slaughtered. And Farrakhan said, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Because you don't have what these people have at their disposal to wipe your ass out.
Facts. Andre 3000 said it best. Nigga, they made them gangs. They got some shit that'll blow out our backs from where they stay at. Ain't no need in talking about going to arms, and we ain't got the arms. We ain't even got the soldiers. Like, boy, you fuck around like all these young niggas out here killing everybody, doing all this gangster shit. If you told them that we were finna go to war and do the XYZ, boy, listen, man, they gonna fold like lawn chairs. I guarantee it. Like, bro, it's just that ain't the way this battle is gonna be, or this war is gonna be won, if you want to call it that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't talk about, you can't beat an enemy in their own game, basically. This is brain banging, not gang banging. We brain banging. You feel what I'm saying? The only way you gonna overcome this tribulation that we are going through as a people is simply by massaging the brain, working it out, activating these glands in the brain that have been dormant for forever. Now it's happening. It's happening. It's just slow, but it is happening. Because I remember 5 years ago, we weren't having this conversation that we're having right now. But talking about violence, nah, bro, that's something that we do not want to do. Period.
Here goes something that we don't know. I'm gonna tell y'all something y'all don't know. Uh Kanye got FOI security on him at 24/7 every day. He got FOI security on him 24/7 every day because they know he was gonna have to do this. This is not new. They been knew he was gonna be the one. Ever since late registration and college dropout, they knew he was gonna be the one that was gonna drag these motherfuckers out because of where he come from and who he's affiliated with. He don't just got FOI security on him. He got some goons on the West Coast that they call Crips that's securing him off the West. And when he in Chicago, he don't just have FOI, he got GD security. He's secure. They if they fuck around and run up on Kanye, then that's how you set this shit off. So if they gonna set it off, that's why Farrakhan said what he said. If y'all want to go to war, we've been waiting on that. But they couldn't do it until they had the order from higher up, spiritually speaking, that is. We had to put the puzzle together first to know who was the dirty players. Now they know. It ain't no secret no more. All they doing is beating on the motherfucking pinata until this motherfucker busts open. That's why all of the um, Orthodox Jewish rabbis is coming out trying to tell y'all that Kanye and Kyrie right. Then you got the ones that say we not Zionists. They keep telling y'all that. We not Zionists. We don't believe in Zionism. But the motherfuckers that they calling out are 100% Zionists, but most of us don't know what the fucking difference is. Right? I already said this a long time ago. Ain't no motherfucking reverse gear at this point. Wish full motherfucking speed ahead, balls to the wall, bust these motherfuckers in they shit. They just trying to wake y'all up as to what's taking place behind the scenes, and we's dragging our feet. If a motherfucker try to touch Kanye, watch what happened to him. They didn't already tried in the last year, and y'all don't even know it. Y'all don't even know it. Niggas and got fucked up trying to do shit to Kanye West. But y'all don't know it. Most of the people don't know it because they can't read the signs. They can't read the play. The playbook it's an old ass playbook. If you want to know the rules they playing by, read Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. Read Protocols of the Wise Men of Zion. Our defense manual was written by Dr. Neely Fuller, United Independent Compensatory Code System for breaking the chains of white supremacy. And once you lay out the attack formula, Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, Protocols of Zion, and then you read the defense manual, the United Independent Compensatory Code, and then you match up what's going on in the world, you're gonna look at this shit different. This shit gonna be a whole different story at that point. I say fuck all them motherfuckers. Drag all their asses out. Hang them niggas on the gallows. Like, make them motherfuckers be the strange fruit this time. See, we not realizing that the reason why the Orthodox Jews is backing up off of the pressure. They thought we was gonna back down and leave Kanye with no security, as has happened before. Right? So when he go to telling you who got sacrificed, but remember, he said he ain't kill nobody. That means he didn't offer his mama up for a sacrifice. They threatened him to do something. When he didn't do it, they killed his mama. Just like they told Bill Cosby, you better stop trying to buy NBC because you can't own NBC because we not gonna never let your motherfucking ass in. And then when he went and got the Japanese dude to sit in there as a part of the investment group, and they found out that Cosby was in the investment group, go back and look at Ennis Cosby's case. Here you got in the middle of goddamn July, some pink lady with a big ass fur coat staying on the expressway, and he's pulling over to help her.
Man, I ain't lying, bro. Cause when Kanye said that when they were interviewing him, he was sitting in that Escalade or that Yukon, whatever he was in. He said, "Man, you know, my mom was sacrificed." He said, "Look at Cosby's son, look at MJ daddy," and it's like the common thread in all three of them. They all bucked the system. Kanye bucked the system. George Bush don't like that white folk. Cosby bucked the system. He tried to buy NBC. MJ bucked the system. He wasn't supposed to win them goddamn championship like that. He was supposed to fold. But if you know anything about Michael Jordan, he's a competitor by nature. You tell him to fold, he gonna beat your ass by 60. Point blank period. But all of them took a loss. A major loss. But like Kanye said, he ain't killed nobody. Now look at the industry for real, for real. And look how reckless they've been over all these years. It's a lot of people out there that got blood on their hands. And they can't make this stance. They can't because they are compromised. Think about it now. Kyrie's another one that's not compromised. You feel what I'm saying? Like the dirt that they can use to be influence over the actual person that they have a problem with, Kyrie and Ye, I don't think they got that type of dirt on them. That's why Ye say it's up there and it's stuck there. You feel what I'm saying? If everything that Rod's saying right now with the FOI, the Fruit of Islam security, with the GD security that's protecting Kanye in these different aspects, because you got to think, why is Kanye so damn bravado in his messaging right now? We all see what happened to folks that come out and go against the narrative of the mainstream. But Kanye all gas, no brakes. He got to know something we don't know. You feel me?
This
Yeah.
is just, it's
I,
just
I remember when it happened. Mm-hmm.
Hey, what were the
right.
book name? What were those books names? You said
The
Protocol.
protocols of the learned elders of Zion.
Hold on, I'm writing this down. Protocols of the Learned Elders.
of Zion, and Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike.
Hold on. Morals and Dogma by who?
Albert Pike.
Albert Pike.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you said there was one more. Hold on. Albert Pike. And then, what was the last one you said?
That was just
The
those.
last one was the United
Oh,
Independent Compensatory Code Concept for Breaking the Chains of White Supremacy by
Hold, hold,
Dr. Neil Fuller.
wait. That was a long thing, dude. Hold on. Unite. I just got United Independent. What was the rest of it?
Compensatory
Compensatory
Code / Concept for Breaking the Chains of White Supremacy.
Can you give us like maybe a summary of the three different books and how you tied them together?
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm about
Have
to
a whole
say.
different conversation, sir. So let's continue. Go ahead, Rod. You got the floor.
Okay, so when these people they came over here as conquistadors, first of all, we gotta understand that. We gotta understand that we didn't believe none of that Bible shit before they came. We didn't believe none of that Quran shit before they came. When they came, they brought three monotheistic religions with a military agenda attached. This was all strategic global conquest, military takeover. We are the organic indigenous people of the Americas, and they calling us Africans, Negroes, blacks, and colors. What
Rod
our
Hayes,
elders,
Rod Hayes. I'm sorry. You gotta bring. Can you please that statement that you just said? Can you please
which
just run that back one more time for the people in the back, please?
before them motherfuckers came, we didn't believe none of them three monotheistic religions. That shit didn't have nothing to do with us. But then once they came, they used those things to bind us mentally and spiritually by blocking our emotional perception. This is all about a military strategy of conquest. They keep telling us that we came on slave ships. We was already here. We've been here so long it wasn't no here when we was first came.
Facts. I tell people like my family history, and I'm big on family history. Well, I'm big on family and I'm big on history. You combine the two, I'm big on family history. And I have not one motherfucking story about slavery in my family. Period. We was already here. And you can argue me up and down. Show me a slave ship. Go to the museum, call the Smithsonian up, and tell them to put a slave ship on display. I'll wait.
Because we created here. Them motherfuckers Johnny come lately. That's my nickname Farrakhan gave me, Johnny come lately. But these motherfuckers, they came as conquistadors. They rolled out their agenda and they used it to the letter. They infiltrate us as the Black Hen. The Black Hen in the South was called the Black Hen because they brought those robes from Barcelona, Spain, and they called themselves the Ku Klux Klan. When you do your KKK research, the KKK's book is called The Kloran, Kloran. It's a little pamphlet that looks like the Circle 7. It's a reason for that.
Hey, for y'all in the back that don't know what a conquistador is, a conqueror, especially one of the Spanish conquerors of Mexico and Peru in the 16th century. Again, a conquistador is a conqueror, especially one of the Spanish conquerors of Mexico and Peru in the 16th century. Spain, the Spaniards, those were the conquistadors. Okay? What was Christopher Colombo or whatever his damn name was? He was from Spain. He was Spaniard. That's your conquistadors. See, history, they tell you history and they give you bits and pieces, but they'll never give you enough to put the whole puzzle together. And then since they don't and they leave key pieces out, they can twist and turn the narrative in a way that they want to. You feel me? So I just want to let you know, because that word conquistador, it'll go over a lot of people's head. Those were the Spanish conquerors that came over here and conquered North America. They're right.
Somebody's trying to call me. Okay, so the KKK was not a European organization or a pale skin or organization. The KKK was founded by conquistadors, Moorish exiles from the Spanish Inquisition. And they used the robes to conceal their identity. We don't do much thinking, because if we did, we'd say, why would somebody who not gonna never get in trouble for murdering us cover their face?
Now you know why Spike Lee came out with the movie called The Black Klansman. Yeah, he put the movie out there in a way to where it looked like a black man was trying to infiltrate the KKK or this, that, and the third, whatever. But the name itself, come on, man. Truth is way stranger than fiction will ever be, good people.
It was fashionable to be racist back then. So the most diehard racists want to be known for being racist because it was in style. It was the vogue thing of the era. Now we starting to see what was taking place behind the scenes, because I didn't already send people the photographs from the 1800s, early 1900s of KKK motherfuckers with black hands dangling from under them white robes. These is the ones who call themselves Moorish Zionist Jews, or a Zionist Jew for short, or as we call them, a satanic Jew, synagogue of Satan. Same motherfuckers. They keep changing names and organizations in order to keep you from knowing who they are and where they at. I've been watching them the whole time since I was a little boy, wondering why these niggas ain't put this shit together.
How do like I know, dude, I know what you're saying, bro. Like, how do we put together? Like, how does one find the who? Like, there's the days, but like the specific people. Like, I'm in my research, I'm trying to figure out who the hell is running all this shit too, right? And by the way, they don't tell you that like the biggest genocide happened right here in the United States whenever they killed like 95% of the American
They
Indians
didn't
that were
kill
here.
95% of us. We never stopped being here in mass.
I mean, right here.
That genocidal number was given to us in order for us to believe that they brought us all over here on slave ships after they killed off the organic people.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying they're even erasing the history of like
Paper
basically black
genocide.
people.
They've been telling us the whole time. You heard the term paper genocide, right?
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. Oh yeah, they can sit there and mess with numbers, do whatever they want to do, put whatever information they
It's
want.
more.
They control the media and stuff. But like, who the fuck is they? I mean, I think it's the bankers at the end of the day,
Can I
dude. They
say
got to be the
something on the
bankers.
day?
Hey guys,
Can I
can I say
say
something
something
real
on the
quick?
day
Can I
real
just say
quick?
something real quick, guys?
Real
Can I just
quick.
say something real quick?
Can I
Hold on, let
please
the
speak for
sister
a minute?
talk and then we'll pick you up next, brother.
Real quick on that. I really want to speak on the they, these they people. What, like Rod was saying, the they, those fake KKK, all these people that came over supposedly presuming themselves as other people. These are the Etruscans. The Etruscans are these people that were the Moors. They're the ones that came in. They also came in with the Jesuits in 1611. They created the first 1611 Christian church. The first Jesus church was created in 1611 in Bogota, Colombia, where they came in the Americas trying to assume everything, where the heart of the land is, where all the emeralds of the land are. The Emerald Trade Center is even there. The World Trade Center, they all have all connections there with the UN, everything that they created this formulation. Then they created the copyrights. The copyrights gave them entry until here to make claims with the buildings, creating the BLM. When you hear this Black Lives Matter, they're really talking about the buildings that they have, the the Bureau of Land Management. I'm sorry, the Bureau of Land Management. So when they created the Bureau of Management offices, they were bringing the people over and they were creating the lands and using these false documents when they used these treaties that they were allowed to have some space here, and they started assuming and taking things over, reconstructing the land, reconstructing the history, reconstructing even the masses, including the map. Where we thinking, oh, America, we always screaming America, America. Yes, America for what we know, but before that, this was the real Israel. This is Jerusalem, the higher land that they always talk about where everything is Islam, the Red Sea, Egypt, all these places they talk about is talking about it's over somewhere else. It's here. All that stuff is here. They have
Yeah, like think about this, y'all. It's a place called Egypt, right up there by Chicago. Egypt over there overseas, they had a city called Memphis. You feel me? Talk about Atlantis, we got Atlanta. Like, bro, this shit, like, a lot of shit just be in your face, man. You just gotta not be scared to ask a question. You gotta have an intelligent mind that's able to entertain a thought without accepting it. You gotta question everything. You know what I mean? You just can't take all this shit that these folks giving us at face value, man. Because again, if you have any inkling about yourself, you're gonna understand that this is you're being fed a bunch of malarkey. Seriously. And there's a whole lot more shit out here that make sense than it is that don't. But we get caught up in the shit that don't make sense because we want to rely on the indoctrination that we have been provided. I digress.
renamed, reconstructed, rephrased history, and completed everything in our minds so that we have a new story that they wanted to construct, all on a nativity. This is why they are Jewish. Why do you think they say they're Jewish instead of saying we're Jews? They wouldn't dare say they Jews. They know better. They might get struck down or something. Jewish. Ish is a nativity. Ish is actually bringing the nativity. Ish is a nativity. Literally, the meaning of ish is from Old English, and it means that it's a character of. It means it is the nature of something. And this is the same thing as
Same thing I've been saying, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? We just need to clarify what it is. Like that was my question that I had with Ye. Like he wasn't saying that they want to put the anti word on him, but he wasn't anti. He was saying he was one. He didn't put the ish on it. He just said he was that. And see, that's the difference. See, that's the big thing that I don't think people understand. Like, it's a difference. Why would I call myself Keith Ish? I'm Daniel Ish. No, motherfucker, I'm a Daniel. You feel me? God is my judge. Point blank, period. That's what I am. That's how I move out here. That's what my bloodline is. I know this. So why in the hell would I say I'm Daniel Ish? Well, God is sort of my judge. He's kind of my judge. What the fuck type of shit that is? No, nigga, I know who I am. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you relate to being a Daniel and you like what Daniels bring to the table, and this is what um you want to revolve around and gravitate to, by all means, I ain't mad as long as you don't fuck up the Daniel name. You feel me? But when you start fucking up the Daniel name, I got a problem with that. You can take that ish off of there. If you ain't gonna abide by the rules and the laws of being a Daniel. So when we talk about the J word, same shit should apply. But it's totally opposite, totally different. You feel what I'm saying? I got a joke. It's a joke. It might not be a joke. It just might be an analogy in the form of a short story that I want to tell y'all, and it's gonna make perfect sense. But I digress from it right now. We're gonna continue on with the. We'll continue on with the show.
the nativity. It's the nativity of. So the ish, they are the nativity of the Jews, which are us. We are the real so-called Jews, if you want to put a name on it. I don't believe in all these titles, but when you talk about things, sometimes you got to make people get it. So we are the Jews, we are the American Indians, we are the indigenous, we are the every name that they keep changing and changing and changing. The only original ones, there's only one original race that has nine strand DNA. We are the nine stranded DNA beings. These are the natural beings that have the same elements that are in this earth. There's no denying it. We are chemically tied to this thing because we are part of it. We are the elements. The elements are us, and we are the elements. Everything that's inside this earth and planet is also inside us because we hold universes inside of each cell inside of our body.
And the first thing we got to realize, because you got to look up free white person in law, because it's going to tell you right in there it's a blackamoor, it's a Spaniard, it's an Englishman. These people came over here, they was called brunette complexion. That means brownish, right? And then they started mingling with us and picking puppets out of the lodges that they set up. They set up 32-degree Scottish Rite to initiate Scottish Rite Freemasons in the Americas. So what this is what okay, so let me try to condense it and fast track it for y'all. We was over here minding our business with no Bible, no Quran, no Torah, no Mishnah, no Kabbalah, no Scottish Rite 32-degree Freemason. We was over here, we had a whole different system similar to what they call masonry. But we didn't have it as masonry. We had rites of passage programs. All right, now, when they came over here, they sent Columbus was the scout and investigator. He came over here to verify that this would be a suitable land to conquer. It's in his writings. When he left and went back to Europe, they murdered his ass in Europe. Y'all got to remember that. When he took his ass back over there and laid out the play that they was about to lay down, that's when they killed Columbus, who was
I'm sorry,
a
respectfully, you talking about the
Respectfully, let him
I
finish.
didn't hear who
I'm
he
talking
said
about
represent.
Cristo Colon, who they call Christopher
Thank
Columbus.
you.
Okay. He came over here as a scout, and after he went back, they came over here in mass as conquistadors, Englishmen, Dutchmen, and Franks from France. They was all melanated. They brought their servants who was lighter in complexion called Tawny Moors, called Mongols, called Huns, and called Aryavedics or Hindus. Them was they slaves. When they came over here with their slaves, they used the lightest of their slaves to block us out of institutions. And we was fighting a protracted war called Gullah Wars. They call them Seminole Wars. They call them Seminole Wars because Seminole mean a conglomerate or mixture of peoples, because we had every clan from the land north, south, as far away as the Polynesian Islands, as far north as what we call Alaska and the Inuits. All sent people to Florida to fight Gullah Wars. The ceasefire was because it was too much blood being spilt on the land, and the women of the mothers of the land said, "Chiefs, y'all have to stop the bloodbath, because the children are not going to be able to come from under the stupor that's created from the mass slaughter." So we went into what's called a conjure war, right? The same conjure war they talk about in the hieroglyphics between Kenyans or people from the land of Anpu and the original Kemetics or Egyptians. Now, when they came over here, they brought their Bible, they brought their law, and they brought their prison system. And all America is an interim government. It's not a real government. It's an interim government set up the same way that George Bush put Mohammed Karzai in office over in Iraq. And they did the same thing in Afghanistan. He might have been Afghanistan and somebody else in Iraq. But Muhammad Karzai's story is the story of George Washington, who stole the name of the Barbados-born George Washington and became the first so-called president under the Constitution. But when you go back and do the historical record, you find that we was already in a fully functional and operating reconstruction period with a reconstructionist government, and that reconstruction this government was called the Continental Congress. The Continental Congress was set up as a recovery effort from the people of the land. They have to get rid of them. This is your civil war. The Civil War, the first person they kill, they have to always put his name out front. Name was Crispus Attucks. He was indigenous, organic to this land over here. And the secondary constitution that they wrote is on display in the George Washington Monumental Museum right outside of DC. And it's written in his blood because the rule says that no blood of the righteous shall be spilled in vain. So they use his blood to write the constitutional contract that was tied to what's known as the George Washington Challenge. The George Washington Challenge had the chiefs take their feathers off, and it had them the Moors take their fezzes off. And at the end of 200 years, we ain't supposed to be able to tell us apart. Well, I know them motherfuckers from us on site. Only one of us had to figure it out. Everybody didn't need to figure it out. But the law of the tribe say if a chief makes a discovery that affects the collective of the tribes, he has to go and inform them all with not just who did it, what they do, how they done it, where they came from, and what's the remedy. You can name everything else, but if you don't have a remedy, then you don't know the law of the land. So the first remedy was to close out all of the treaties that they never honored for what's called non-performance, right? So because of non-performance, when all of the treaties get closed out, it erases the contract of the Constitution. That's the 200-year contract. The 400-year contract that was first was the biblical contract that came with the first missionaries in 1619. It ain't got nothing to do with no slave. It's a contract.
Ask a question, please.
Yes, ask a question, sweetie.
Are people supposed to be keeping track of these years and all these informations that you are introducing into the conversation?
No, but I all of this stuff I've been gave the receipts on my other platforms. I'm just fast tracking it for just to give you a baseline of what's taking place on the land.
I had a quick question. From what I gathered, Brother Rod, it sounds like, and I could be wrong, so that's why I'm asking. It sounds like what you're saying is the indigenous um, Americans are not Jews. Because if there was no Bible, there was no Torah, and this information was brought to the indigenous Americans, would that mean that they are, in fact, they're not Jews? Like this is a made up
It
thing.
is you absolutely right, sweetie. It's made the fuck up. The
Yeah.
Jews
Okay, got it.
is made up. The Arabs is made up.
Rod, I disagree with that. Rod, this is
You can
Lisa.
disagree, but tell me what we was before they brought us a Bible.
Because it wasn't. This goes beyond the Bible, though. You understand what I'm saying? I always deal with.
Because if we don't know
For
nothing
for
about no Jews
me,
without a Bible.
right? Because that's just a name that they gave it. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, I didn't even get to this part of the discussion, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I went to look into a book that my mother told me about years ago, you know what I'm saying? But I had to go look at it again from Babylon and Timbuktu. First of all, I don't believe in the Bible like that. It's just a storybook. You know what I'm saying? But it's a book about history as well. And so for me, it's about what we got to focus on, y'all, is the bloodlines. Okay. The story goes all the way back to Samaria. It goes all the way back to Babylon. It goes all the way back to the Anunnaki. And
I agree with Miss Lady. It's a history book. Like we can sit here and we can downplay the Bible and we can say, well, yeah, they brought this over here. We ain't know nothing about that. I I see where Rod going with that, but at the same time, we had historical, even if we didn't have it written down, we had oral history that had some of the same shit that they had in their book when they brought it over here. You see what I'm saying? See, I don't think that the book that we got now is the same book that they brought over here. You see what I'm saying? I think that they took some of our teachings that we had orally and they transcribed it because we weren't we were very visual and oral with our teachings and we remembered it. Why you think rappers can go in and just freestyle like that? Or how I can just get on this video and just off the top of my dome with it? Because that's how we operate. You see what I'm saying? We get into the spirits a little bit. Why you think they call alcohol spirits or whatever? You see what I'm saying? Or hell, weed, marijuana. You see what I'm saying? We do our thing. We have our fests or whatever and shit. We talk our shit like we always do. That's how we get information across. That's why reading ain't for everybody. Think about what I'm saying. But then they come over here with this. They transcribe the teachings that we got, and you combine all this, and what you got? The book that has been here for thousands of years. You see what I'm saying? Like the history is crazy, but it's so interesting. It's so great. And if you don't know your history, you bound to repeat your past. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm gonna digress from that one. I'm gonna let them go on and finish building.
And it goes all the way back to, during that time when they had those tablets. So this is beyond religion to me. So to me, I'm not linking I don't give a damn about a title of Hebrew or Jew or whatever. Okay, it's about knowing and whatever clues that we can have, that we can trace our lineage as to who we are from a cosmic perspective. I think that it's worth the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I don't ascribe to Jew, Hebrew, none of this, whatever. Okay, it's fine if that's what people want to do, but you know what I'm saying? I don't take anything away from anybody that wants to do that. But I do feel like this part of the conversation, we gotta slow walk people, right? Because you're not about to tell them that you ain't a
It,
Christian and then tell them that they was a God. You know what I'm saying? You gotta slow walk them into this shit. And that's what they've been
the
doing. So
easiest slow
Right,
walk,
but
Lisa, the simplest slow walk is this. Before 1492, what was we calling ourselves? We wasn't calling
there was,
ourselves
but
Jews.
who's calling us Moors, right? So
We wasn't no goddamn Moors either. That's some made up shit too.
like,
That was made up for the purpose of a country war.
yeah,
okay, okay.
all of more is in our language. It is what they would refer to. They call it a black Muslim. So a black person along the Nile Valley that converted to Islam. And helped the Arabs defeat the Rome. I mean, the Romans that had control of the area of Egypt and stuff.
The
Though.
Romans was the same motherfuckers called Moors today. They Etruscans.
Yeah. I'm talking about, yeah, when people just keep using that term more and stuff. More it means a black Muslim, pretty much in our language.
It's a catch term.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a catch term used to blend people from different cultures under one name so that we can all think we the same and we ain't.
So
You know
what's
they do this
what's
around the world
interesting?
too. Like in the Philippines, they went in, and then what did they do to all the Filipinos? They went in, they changed all their names, right? That's why Filipinos have like Spanish sounding names, right? The conquistadors went out and did this. It's a strategy that they use over and over all over the place, which is go in and cut people's identity, right? Like totally slaughter their identity. That way they don't know where they come from, right? Then when they don't know where they come from, then you could tell them what the fuck to do, and that's these guys have been doing this around the world, but it's almost like they did all this stuff and then what happened to them? Well, they continued, right? So they're still there. So I get what Rod's talking about, which he's talking about those people that the people that Columbus reported to. Okay, what
Yeah,
happened?
them motherfuckers.
Yeah, what happened to their lineage? Like track that fucking lineage and all those people and what's going on
Okay,
now.
let me tell
You
you
know?
where they at. Let me tell you where they at. They use the same name that the royal family in Europe had. The what we call the Saxon Goldman family. That was their blood shield, or they say Rothschild being blood shield. But they had three major families to conceal who they was that don't look like us. They known in Europe as the black nobility, and they are in Europe. If you are royalty, you classified in law as a free white person. This is why we keep getting fucked over because we want to identify with everything they brought over here with them, but we don't want to go back to who we actually are. They gave us a tribal name, Cherokee, and before they came, there was no Cherokee tribe. When you do the etymology on the word Cherokee, it's gonna give you a word that ain't even similarly spelled.
Why y'all think OJ said, I ain't black, I'm OJ? See, we in our thinking and how we were programmed, we think that that word black means the color of our skin. But we can look at our skin and know that we ain't black. Think about it. Get you a black anything. Get your remote control. 9 times out of 10, it's black. Get your phone with the screen off. It's black. Put it against your skin. I guarantee you those are two totally different colors. So why do we call ourselves black? Hmm? Riddle me that.
What's
Because
very
all of these things, so you got major catch terms, Jew, Moor, Cherokee. That's so that when you ain't really sure about who you is, they can trick you with them terms.
and
But
speaking
Hey
of
hey, tell us more
Rod.
about the
somebody, speaking
Rothschild.
Hey,
of
hey
people
Rod,
getting
let me dig into that black
sorry.
nobility
Hold up, but
real
just so you
quick.
guys know, Rothschild keeps coming up everywhere in all these conversations on Clubhouse. You know what's consistent as far as what might be? So for some reason, this Rothschild name keeps popping up all over the place, and it'd be interesting just to understand more of what is going on with that lineage because those folks kind of run the fucking planet.
What's
Hey,
weird
what
They
y'all
about
don't.
think
They,
what you
they
about
don't.
said,
Queen
They
Ray?
Charlotte
puppets.
though and
They
her
the fall
bloodline?
guys, the front man, the face of the motherfucking company. That's all they are. The United States of America is a merger of two companies. You can look them up. The Virginia Company, which traded in slaves, furs, and other goods, and the other one was called the Northwest Trading Company. When they merged, they became known as the United States of America Incorporated. And they made their first treaty with another company called the Royal Moroccan Company. Wasn't no fucking Morocco. Morocco ain't even 200 years old.
Facts. That's what I be saying, man. History ain't like they telling us. Like what I was talking about with the Israel thing. Like that shit ain't even 100 years old. Morocco ain't even 200 years old. But now we over here calling ourselves something that we don't even have a clue on what the foundation is about. Think about that shit, man. Just think about that shit. Like, bro, this shit crazy, man. I'm just gonna let them be. Cause I sometimes I get flabbergasted around it. Shit.
That was Al Maghrib, and it was broke up. They broke it up into several countries under the Berlin Conference to designate it to who was going to run that part. The same thing they
Yeah, I know what I wanted to say. He said the United States Incorporated, right? United States of America Incorporated. America been a corporation, people. That's what I be trying to get people to see. It's a government on top of a government. Like the government for the people. It ain't the corporation. That's why you have so many crooked politicians because they operate for the corporation. Some of us operate for the people, for the betterment of the people. Point blank. Period. There was already a constitution in place. I digress. I digress. Do your research though. I don't think that they came over here across the seas to a barbaric people. Ain't nothing you can say to make me believe that, Jay. I think they came over here to a very civilized, peaceful people, and they adopted a lot of the customs because they were barbaric. And I ain't saying barbaric to the degree of they were cavemen. I'm saying that they didn't give a damn about the aspect of shedding blood and life. They played the game totally different. And they caught us off guard with playing the game like that. Like we weren't built up like that. We weren't wired up like that. You know what I mean? Not to the point of murder and death and, you know, raping and robbing and not like we want. I truly believe that the people of this land that was over here weren't wired up like that. And when we seen all that, when we seen what this people that came over here were capable of, bruh, it fucked us up. And it took, that's just me. That's what you call trauma. And they've been playing off the trauma ever since.
They did to the Africans, they did it over here. We didn't have no 51, 52 states, 49 continental states. We had three major provinces, and that three major provinces is ran by three high chiefs. And the three high chiefs is supposed to work together, but they've been indisposed. Now, because they came in, they set up lines of demarcation. The history is a scrambled fucking egg the way they told it, but you all you got to do is go back before they told it and you can see it.
What's very interesting about what you're saying, brother, is it kind of alludes to the idea that this whole idea with blacks being the original Jews could be a psyop and could be a way for black people to ascribe to someone that they're not, and then once they ascribe and they take on the understanding that they're these people, then certain things are now attributed to them, or now it's almost like it could be a psyop. This could be a way to get
It isn't.
people.
It's not.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
no. That's
Yeah.
too much mental gymnastics, and it's
No, it's
like
not.
no. Like I feel like we're trying to talk ourselves out of. You know what I'm saying? Occam's razor. Like the simplest answer is like what it is. So we
Okay,
know.
look, Lisa, you're not doing the math though. You
But if
you
we
you
take
skipping the math problem to answer all of the words around the math. You
okay, so
answering all of
what
the
I'm saying
English terms
what I'm
around the
saying is
math
that
problem.
like okay, so I think that what we instead of like what this is about is like semantics, right?
No, it's not.
It is
It's not
semantics
semantics that before
because
1492
no,
we
no,
didn't have
no.
no Bible over here.
I know, but we're not. I'm saying like, but we have to understand that all of this goes even beyond the Bible. That's what I'm trying. That's what I was trying to explain a few minutes ago.
I see what Shawty's saying. And I kind of get where she's coming from. Not saying that I'm with her 100%, not even 60% or 51%. I'm just saying, like, I see where she's coming from. Like, okay, she's saying that look at how everything is out here in the media. And then look how we fall right in line with picking up the narrative. She's saying that it could be a side in that aspect. And I agree with her that you can use it in that aspect. You follow what I'm saying? Because you can still sow the seeds of division by having a people that becomes entitled. Like you, only thing you don't did was swing the pendulum because you already had the people that felt entitled. I'm talking about in America anyway, in this country. You already had people that felt entitled. Now you swinging the pendulum, and now you got these people that feel entitled, and now they think you own them something. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's where we get caught up at in a situation where it's like, um, it do more harm than it does good. That's why I'm a firm believer in, okay, if you want to talk about we the people and this our shit and yada yada boom boom, well, what does that really mean? And what we gonna really do about it? You see what I'm saying? Because we have to be realistic with the situation. Um, we hurting as a people mentally. Like you can't give an idiot $1 million. He'll be broke within a week. You feel what I'm saying? Like we have to understand that part of the game. Number two, I feel like we have to understand the aspect of if we take the same road that our oppressors took, how does that make us any different than our oppressors? Like we're a little bit we're a little bit too far past that. I think it's still a situation right now. It takes certain mindsets to understand that, but we have to have the realization that we got some shit wrong in history. And can there be reparations for that? No, there's no price on that. And I think that's another part that people get twisted. Like you can't repay us if it, if if all this is true. There's no price. It's priceless. Only thing you can do at this point is just try to make things right and let's get on the right page. You see what I'm saying? And unlinquish certain restraints that you have in place. After that point, I think you would see what we need to see in society. But being honest with you, like me and my partner had this conversation like 2 nights ago. There's nothing you can pay or people for the shit that we done went through. Like, period. I mean, even to this day, if you really understand how the game being played with music and the prison systems and the dope, the drugs, the guns, how that shit get into the community, yada yada yada. Man, you can't repay us for this shit, man. Only thing motherfucker can do is just really like, bro, just let her be. And you know what I mean, just back up, like, and help us grow and blossom into what we can be. Cause talking about repaying, man, shit, that debt, that's a detrimental debt. But let me digress and let's jump back into it.
That if you really go into and read the scholarship, that this goes all the way back to and aligns with the Sumerian text. And
That's
so to
because that's the
me,
source.
that
That's the source down.
establishes a bloodline is what I'm trying to say.
What's the
Right? So we've
bloodline?
got I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's what we have to investigate.
Hey,
Okay?
look,
Now,
Because
now,
we
wait,
mm,
look,
left the
look,
research room.
one second, but I would, but like, cause I'm with Ross. So Lisa, so you said go back to the Sumerian bloodline. Okay, do you know what the word Sumerian really means? And really, those people would refer to themselves as Sumerians.
you know what? So this is how I feel about it, right? Because we can't take someone from A to Z. Okay?
Hey, look, on some comedic shit. She said when she came out with that, you know what? And she was frustrated, but she didn't had enough. Shit, she done had enough, cause like she on one at this point, like straight up, boy. But them women, boy, I ain't lying, boy. They will let you know you can hear it. And when she said that, you know what? I said, oh yeah, she read it and she tired of it and she just finna do her thing. Her platform, goddamn it, y'all ain't finna bogart her platform. And she gonna stand up and she gonna be the boss. And I salute her for it. Shit, because she done had enough.
Okay? It's
Yes, you
people
can.
that are still they're locked in to one place already. Okay? They're already locked into there, right? And so in my mind, because I am an actual teacher. People have self-proclaimed, like I actually did that shit in real life, in military, okay? Military
That makes
tactics,
sense.
techniques, and leadership, all that shit.
That make
I
a
know
lot of
how to
sense.
teach, okay? So what I'm saying is that I understand the way that people's brains process things. I also understand the subconscious mind, psychology. I understand propaganda, the things that
I bet she a Leo. I bet you any amount of money she is a Leo. She sounds so much like me. I don't even know her. But boy, the way she going off and she breaking down like why she feel the way she feel and how she breaking this shit down, and then the way where she coming from with it. Like, bro, I can't knock her because I'm the same way. Like, okay, cause that's why I say I feel him when she said it can all be. You gotta think, man. Why is Kanye? Kanye came out on one level, but now this motherfucker get on Alex Jones and he talk about his love for the H word, man. You see what I'm saying? And yada yada boom boom. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? And then the people you side up with, these alt-right people, like, and I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with these people. Hell, I don't even know these people. I'm just saying for the sake of being sexy, what we see. You feel me? Like that don't look right. Like what's the end game? And so what she talking about is us falling for the dupe and can be bamboozled by this whole movement from movements like that, from Kanye. You see what I'm saying? So you have to ask yourself. Now, one thing I will say in the sake of seeing something is that Ye made it his business to put that mask on while he was on that video. And I think that was symbolic for him saying that this is something like, it's he caught up and to make right, do something like this, but covering up his face, he letting you know that that ain't the real him. Now, I could be way out there right now. You know what I mean? This shit it could sound straight up left field. But you got to understand you got to understand the ball field that Kanye is playing in. It's different than our ball fields. It's a lot of lights on him, big old lights. And it's a lot of people watching. And he still have to move a certain type of way. However, in him moving that way, he can still do things that a trained eye can notice and be like, okay. Because it's strange for me. Like, he was acting real foolish, extra foolish. He was acting extra foolish. And I think he did it on purpose because I think it was one of them situations where it was like, all right, do this. And it could be one of them situations where it make it seem like you're throwing your people off and mixing up your messaging to the point to where people will back up off of you. Because to me, what he did on Alex Jones made no fucking sense, period. Straight up. I ain't gonna say it didn't make sense. Like, I understood and could comprehend everything that he was doing. But the reasoning behind him doing it just didn't really make no sense to me. Point blank, period. So that's why I can see where she coming from. But let me let her finish. We only got about 2 more minutes on this video, man. And I'm gonna let y'all go.
I've been studying this stuff very quietly for years. So when I'm presenting something from one particular aspect, I know what I'm talking about. So I mean, so what
Okay,
is the
let me
point?
ask you
That, like, so
this.
my thing is, but what is the point? Let's just say, fuck Kanye, fuck Kyrie. None of this shit doesn't matter if the Jewish conversation is not important. Because that's what it sounds like to me. That you guys want to like, you're trying to like, you know what I'm saying, like throw that whole conversation out and skip a step. No matter
No, it's not skipping a
that's
step. It's
that's what
going
it
back
sounds
to the
like to me.
beginning. It's going back to the beginning, right? We over here in the Americas, even if you bring up the Sumerian tablets, that shit not over here. Did they find the Sumerian tablets in the now? I mean, in the Mississippi Delta, they found that in the Middle East, where all of their biblical and Quranic references come from the middle. We don't live over there. Before 1492, there was nobody over here talking about I'm a Jew, I'm a Hebrew, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim. Before 1492, who
All
the fuck
over.
was we?
Bro, we traveled all over this fucking planet. You feel me? So we
I
can't
ain't that.
say,
That's not what I'm.
but
That's not the question.
but we can't say that
That's
like
not the question.
that everything from the beginning of time to now was we all just
We
stayed
ain't
in
going
one
back to the
land.
beginning of time.
You know
We
what I'm
going
saying?
back to 1492. Before Columbus sailed his ass over here, what did we call ourselves?
Thanks everyone so much for tuning in.
Hey, hey. Told y'all it was gonna be a good one, man. But I wanna piggyback off of what the
ourselves. You know what I mean? I think.
But now, ultimately, I feel what she's coming. All right, so Raw was cutting it off. What did we have before they came over here? That's a good question. That's a question that I got. I would love to ask Rod that question. Like, what history have for our people for their time? Although, are there documents that is hidden away that we don't have? You know what I mean? That's that's a very good question. However, my understanding, like my thought process, if I'm just speculating, allegedly, like this is just me just speculating, you know what I mean? I think that, again, our history was oral. We really didn't write. We wrote in symbols and things we drew. You feel what I'm saying? And in drawing, we communicate. We had different ways of communicating. You know what I mean? Like versus just writing. And I think that's why a lot of us have problems with reading to a degree, because our brains are wired up differently. But with that population that came initially, their brain was wired up differently than ours. So they learned diction because it helped them learn better. And in diction, they was able to capture the stories that we told. You see it right now on goddamn National Geographic Explorer. If that's even existing right now. But I'm just saying, like, they'll go over there to a certain people and they'll just be jotting shit down and they listening to them tell the story. And then they come back and write a whole goddamn book. And now they got a blockbuster movie named Avatar off of some shit that they talked to goddamn, they got this story from a tribe in Africa, some goddamn. You see what I'm saying? And then they put it in a goddamn book. The book gets turned to a movie, and we call it fiction, and we can't believe it, not even understanding that the whole story came from our people. Shit crazy, ain't it? But that's how this goes. So my thing is, going back to the 1492 situation, how was our history related to the next generation? And I think it was in drawings, it was in music, it was in acting, it was in symbolism, it was orally. We didn't write shit down to the degree of how shit's wrote down now. That's why we have a problem with writing down. That's why they say you want to keep shit away from us, put it in a book. Because you're making it too fucking complicated. You see what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it 100. We don't look, we call that dumb. You can't read, you dumb. No, some motherfuckers can't read. Some motherfuckers, numbers don't, they crunch up and fuck with them. But them motherfuckers can do some shit that we couldn't even imagine to do in a million years. Like we just, like we looking at it totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like I said, that was a good question raised. The whole dialogue in itself, it was fantastic. It was great. I want to have been. So, look, once again, if you made it this far into the video, man, make sure you hit the subscription button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can stay in tune with all content as such, man. You know what I mean? This is Daniel Diagnosis. We share life. We spread love. I am your host, Keith Daniel. Until we meet again, good people. Peace.